Today's decision for Paul Givan to resign from the executive is all about the DUP's own narrow and self-serving political interests. It's also about the loss of the Unionist electoral majority and the reality that the DUP can no longer get everything their own way. It is also undoubtedly about Brexit and the protocol and the ongoing negotiation in that regard. So let me be clear. The protocol is essential. The protocol is a consequence of Brexit, a Brexit that the DUP campaigned vigorously for. Any notion that the protocol will be dispensed with are pure fallacy. The protocol is here to stay. The British government, enacting unilaterally, flagrantly breaches international law. And there is a huge onus on the Irish government to hold London to account and indeed for international opinion to speak again, to stand again with Ireland for the protection of the Good Friday Agreement and for the implementation of the protocol. The Executive and the Assembly have a lot of work to do, and Michelle O'Neill has been in contact with other party leaders, calling for a meeting to ensure that any legislation that can be dealt with within the Assembly proceeds as quickly as is possible. However, we need to be clear. The DUP actions have consequences, real consequences for people struggling with the cost of living, consequences for businesses trying to rebuild after COVID, consequences for our health service, for waiting lists, and it is a matter of disgrace that the budget now won't be passed and that investment in services such as cancer care and mental health are now in serious jeopardy. I want to be clear. We cannot stagger on in the months ahead without a functioning executive, and Sinn Féin will not facilitate this. So in the absence of a functioning executive, an early election must be called and the people must have their say. This is one of those defining moments. We can do so much better than this chaotic theatre. Power sharing can work, but it can only work if parties involved are committed to it. Good government can deliver, of that there is no doubt, and that is what we, and we believe the other parties, want to see happening. So if today's behaviour and decisions of the DUP show anything, it is again demonstrable evidence that we live in a time for real change. And this includes the prospect of constitutional change as set out in the Good Friday Agreement.
The DUP's actions today demonstrate that they are prioritising their own selfish interests over wider society's interests. And that's not just about the unionist population or a nationalist population, it's about all of society. There are many, many casualties to what the DUP have done today, and we've noted some of those things. I got an email this afternoon from a victim of historical institutional abuse, and they feel like this is catastrophic. This is the impact for them, catastrophic. I am angry on that person's behalf because the DUP are hell-bent on pursuing a strategy that is just about their own selfish interest and turns its face against the rest of society. That's not good enough. The public expect better. The public expect politicians to work together to deal with the cost of living crisis, to tackle the health waiting list situation, to invest in cancer services, to do the right thing by victims and survivors, to develop a strategy to tackle violence against women and girls. That has all been set aside by the DUP. That's not good enough. So I think that you asked the question, did I speak to Paul Givan today? I did. I spoke to him very briefly on the telephone, but my message to Paul Givan in private is the same message which we'll deliver to the DUP today. Their actions today is a deliberate act of harm against wider society and all those groups that I have talked about who are impacted by their actions today. And they need to be more honest with the public. The protocol is not going away. The protocol is here to stay. We want to find solutions to make it work. We believe there are solutions to make it work. We believe there can be progress made in the Joint Committee later this month. But again, the DUP are denying the opportunity for us to be part of that conversation because they're only interested in their own selfish interest.